Now it's time to look into some of the commodity moves of the day. And for that, let's bring in Chris Robinson, Managing Director, TJM Institutional Services. Chris, thank you for joining me here. Let's start out with the dollar as it is bouncing off those yearly lows today. What do we think is behind that move for the day?
Well, I just think maybe got a little bit oversold on Friday. We'll see. The trend is definitely lower. So now we've gone from maybe people trying to buy dips to sell rallies. That's something to watch. The big picture, we were on our highs not that long ago. Honestly, go back and look. September of 2022, right? So we were at 22-year highs, 114 and change. The dollar dropped 12.5%. That's the big thing to look at, that big move. Now, and I think now we'll see, will people be selling rallies? The next big support level, the market always likes to go to round numbers. The dollar's at 101.77. My guess is that we'll probably have a battle around that par level, that 100 level, see if that holds. But that situation is really reflective of what the market thinks the Fed's going to do. The market's really dropped sharply once the Fed, has kind of stuck to its guns. So we'll see. But I don't see that trend, for this trend to turn again, you'd really have to get the dollar to go back up above 106, 108. So that would be a pretty big correction. So we'll see. But for now, I think the next level to watch is if we go down and test 100.
We'll see if it does test that level. But we're also looking at crude oil, and it's seen some weakness today. What's behind that?
Well, crude oil's been, since we got tired on the Saudi cuts, we've been in a kind of a holding pattern. And I've been doing this a long time. Usually those gaps on those charts get filled, if only out of spite, right? The traders want to get it. And what am I talking about? Well, if you look at March 31st, the high that night was 75 and change. And then on April 3rd, when we reopened, the low was 79.04. So that gap is something that I think the market may try and go down and fill just out of technically. But you have to remember, where did we come from? We were down at 65 and change. We had a really strong recovery, and we'll see how that continues to go. And I think the driver there is, what's happening with the Chinese economy. But the biggest thing is, how is the market really reacting to the Saudi cuts? That's really what sparked that. And we'll see again. I would be surprised if we don't go down at some point and fill that gap, though. It's just one of those things that markets like to do. Your thoughts on how it's playing out at the gas pump? Yeah, unfortunately, it's funny. It depends on where you live. I live in Chicago. I filled up, it was 448. My daughter lives in Wisconsin, and it was 348. So it's like there's big spreads where you are depending on what's going on. But we had a very big correction in RBOB as well. So that was usually the gas will trail crude oil, but and unfortunately they always raise the prices quicker than when they go down. That's just the nature of the retail business. Mm-hmm. But I think the big level we're going to be watching is crude oil going to sit here at 80? Or are we going to grind around 70? For a long time, we've seen 80. I think the market really gets concerned if you get $100 barrel oil again. Those are the big levels to watch, big round numbers. That's what I think really moves it at the pump. But certainly no fun when for a while there, we had some really cheap gas prices, but they have bumped up. When crude oil goes from 65 to 80 in 12 days, that'll do it. That'll do it, definitely. It looks like right now the AAA national average price of a gallon of gas is $3.67. Illinois, $4.07. So any thoughts lastly on Bitcoin? It fell back below $30,000. What do you think is pushing it there? Or is it an indicator of what more may happen in the market? Well, I'm waiting for people, 4 months ago we were at 15 grand and people were talking about where's the bottom. So the next sales pitch for the Bitcoin people is going to be, we doubled in 4 months, right? That's coming. Doubled in 4 months. Let's keep happening. It won't be, not too many people talking about Bitcoin at $100,000 or $1 million, whatever they were talking about when we were up at 69. The market was extremely oversold. You got a little bit of, I think, money coming in there when the when we had the banking issue, which seems for better or for worse to have at least calmed down now. You don't have people pulling their money out of those regional banks. I think Bitcoin benefited from that because if you hear some of the stories, there were stories people were on their skiing vacation cleaning out their account as they were going up the mountain because it was spread on social media. And I think the simplest thing to do was just, well, let's buy Bitcoin or buy something or buy gold. And I think that's what drove that. Now, does Bitcoin go back to 69 grand? It's got a lot of work to go beforehand. I treat Bitcoin like any other commodity. It's very, very technical. I try not to get, some people are almost religious about it and very dogmatic about it. I think that's a bad idea. If you want to trade it, go ahead. I think you need to treat it like every other commodity. And what does that mean? Well, round numbers attract a lot of attention. So we're going to sit at this 30 level. If we hold above 30 for a while, then people are going to start talking about 50. So we'll see. But, if someone's long out there from 69, I'm sure they're feeling a lot better now that we're at 30 or 29 than they were when we were 15. But I'm waiting for that ad campaign to start for Bitcoin to be doubled in 4 months. Forget about the fact that we went from 69 to 15. No. We just want to talk about the good stuff.
Just the good stuff. You're right, though. I don't hear a lot of people talking about 100,000, and I definitely don't hear a lot of people asking for their salaries in Bitcoin either. Chris Robinson, TJM Institutional Services, thank you so much for joining us.